calling for what they say is the protection of London's South Bank. Mitsubishi and its developers are proposing to construct new office blocks more than twice the size of the former tower. They believe the development will blight the skyline of London's South Bank, so are asking Lambeth Council to listen to the hundreds of objections raised to the proposed redevelopment of ITV's former London Studios. The petition has been started by Coin Street Community Builders, and David Hopkins from the group joined me earlier.
We feel there's a looming threat to the South Bank, and all those Londoners who live nearby, work, visit the South Bank. And we're appealing to Londoners to have their say before it's too late. Many of your viewers will know the iconic former ITV Studios, the building on the riverside. That is, ITV have moved out, Mitsubishi have purchased the site and are seeking planning permission to build a hulking great building, over 224% bigger than what's on there at the moment, completely out of proportion with its surroundings. We're really worried. We're worried it's going to ruin the iconic views down the river that so many Londoners love. The building is so big and bulky that it's going to block out daylight for residents living next door. Next door to the site, we've got 220 homes, ordinary Londoners, social cooperative housing. They're going to lose up to 60% of their daylight, and they just don't have the option to up sticks and move out. So we're campaigning for a change to ensure that all of that damage doesn't happen and we can find a better solution to redeveloping that site.
I mean, things like this are going up across the capital. Buildings are getting bigger and they're popping up everywhere. I mean, are you not just angry that this is happening near where you live?
Well, look, we really welcome the redevelopment of that site. We've been neighbours with ITV for decades. If you talk to local residents, they really miss the hustle and bustle of people visiting the studios, people working locally. So we really want that site to be vibrant again. But we don't want that to be at the expense of families living next door. The expense of we have got our local park, which will be overshadowed by the building that's proposed during the morning and the afternoon when local people are using it, when workers are going to have their sort of sandwiches in the park. We think it would be great to have a vibrant building again there, but actually it's just this excessive bulk and scale that we think is the problem here.
What would you like to see put in place then? What would you like to see done differently in terms of a development on that site? Because unfortunately we live in a world where big developers often win out on these things, and large offices, retail spaces and flats are often the places that get built because that's where the money's at.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lambeth Council are decision makers in this instance. We're calling on Lambeth Council to look very carefully at these proposals, to hear the feedback that's coming from the community, hear the feedback that's coming from other institutions along the South Bank who are objecting. So the National Theatre have objected to this. They believe it will harm the setting of the South Bank. They believe it will harm their setting as a National Theatre. So we're asking Lambeth Council to listen, to look again, to get into a conversation with all the stakeholders that will be impacted, to find a slimmed down solution that will deliver the office, that the developers want. They want big office space. We're not objecting to that. But that will do it in a way that doesn't rob the daylight of neighbouring families.
You've obviously spoken to some of those families and some of those local residences. Specifically, what are their main fears?
They're really worried. You've got kind of big family homes where you've often got three generations, talking to people who've got children, parents, grandchildren. They're big homes. People are often now working at home. You've had homeschooling. As I said, some of those will lose potentially 30, 40, 50, 60% of their daylight. They don't have the choice to pick up sticks and move elsewhere. They're going to be stuck with this for their lifetime, and they don't want their daylight robbed, their houses to be plunged into darkness. They're really worried.
Mm. Why don't they have the opportunity to change where they live? They do live in perhaps one of the most expensive parts of London. It is Zone 1. they could move further out, they could go somewhere different. It is to be expected that if you live in the centre of the capital, to see buildings get built.
I suppose what's unusual about the homes that are next door is they're all cooperative homes. So they're kind of run by the members, they're set at social rents. So what you find is ordinary people. People are surprised to find nurses and taxi drivers and postal workers, nursery staff living just by the South Bank. But we think that's a really positive thing, that you've got space for ordinary Londoners right in the heart of London. These are the people that keep our city running. So it's really important that their quality of life isn't sacrificed for another office building in central London. These are the people that keep London moving.
You can head to change.org and search SOS Save Our South Bank if you want to find out more. Lambeth Council have been contacted for comment, but are yet to get back. Now, stay with us. Coming up in just